Hello, hello. My name is Phil Chan, and I am the co-founder of Final Bow for Yellowface. Welcome to today's episode of What's the Tea, a daily conversation with a dancer of Asian descent during the month of May for Asian Pacific Heritage Month to highlight the achievements and experiences of Asians in dance. Today, I'm very excited to chat with my dear friend from Pennsylvania Ballet, Zechang Liang, who is also raising money for the Pennsylvania Ballet's Corona Dancer Relief Fund today. Good morning. How's it in Philly?
Good, good. It's a great day today, and happy to have me. Thank you, thank you.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah, it's nice to chat with you too. I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
So just to give our viewers some context, the last live performance I saw was you doing La Bayadere with the Pennsylvania Ballet in March. That was the last live show I went to. So it was nice to see you actually perform, not just off stage. So tell me, what were some other things that you were maybe looking forward to dancing this season? What are you missing right now? How are you feeling?
Well, definitely, I'm missing going on stage. That's kind of really sad. We only had a 1 weekend of performance of La Bayadere. We all canceled the second weekend. That's kind of a bummer. But this season, eventually we ended. So we have a whole season off till August, and then we are the next season. We have so many good things happening, and I don't think I can announce that yet because I don't think the Pennsylvania Ballet have been posting on website. But I'm really excited. Next season is going to be more exciting and super fantastic about the repertoire we're doing, and really exciting, really good.
Great. Now, we have, in this What's the Tea series, we've interviewed Asian American dancers who were born here, and we've also interviewed Asian dancers who have moved out of Asia to join other companies. Would love to hear about your start. Where are you from? What is your dance training background? And especially, I think, because I know you trained in China, I think I'd love to hear what the difference was in terms of training and the schools and the system in America versus in China. But tell us first about yourself.
Okay, so I grew up in a really small town. I would say a little village. It's really nice people, just really chill. Everybody's like so calm. Of course, fresh air. That's so hard to find in China, especially in Beijing. Those are like all the pollution out there. But my hometown, fantastic. The name is Jimo. Is similar to Philadelphia, Eastern Coast. My state is Shandong. My city is Qingdao. People know or not, like Qingdao beer is the best beer in the world. But my city is like smaller town of Qingdao, so it's Jimo. So that's how I grow up. And when I was younger, I was really naughty, not quite a kid. My dad wanted me to send me to the army, but that time I was really young, so he just wanted me to have a little freedom before I go really strict. But I'll start like jumping around everywhere, pretty naughty. And so 1 year is 2004, I would say. My ballet school come down to like my village to pick some students from regular school to go to study ballet. That's how I get it. I went to Guangzhou Art School. It's in southern. It's like Houston here, I would say. So it's like southern, really hot, really humid. I stayed there for 6 years, and I only can go home twice a year, winter break and summer break, and the rest just in the school. And half ballet, we do character dance, we do like Chinese, like kind of folk dance a little bit,
Yep.
and a conditioning class, partnering is later on, contemporary later on, but another half day always is like school, like study, and that's how I train. And it's really strict. It's like army, and my dad picked the right place. It's army. It strict me up so much, and that's good hard work I put in the 6 years.
So tell me about like how your dad went from army to ballet. Do you know what I mean? Like those are two very different. I mean, yes, they have the strong discipline. Both of that has in common, and even historically, like in Russia, it was sort of the cadets and the dancers were always together, even
Yeah.
back to the courts of France. But so why, in your dad's thinking, why was ballet sort of the same thing as going into the military?
Yeah, well, that's kind of because at the moment, right, in China, it's old fashioned. My family is really traditional Chinese family. Um, in that town, in that environment, my hometown is like, if these kids are really naughty, you send them to the army, and this army people will strict them up. That's the mentality they have. But luckily, I kind of get out of this army kind of side of it. I went to dance. That actually burned me a lot of energy, um, like wore me out. And luckily, I had an amazing teacher that is super strict with us. Um, it basically like army, like you cannot do this, you cannot do this, and we have to wear like a body weights, like the ankle weights. We have arm weight. We have like a weight like a vest. I never thought that would exist, but it is apparently in my teacher's world. We wear those every morning, 6 o'clock, wake up, running around for like 20 minutes and like hardcore without breakfast yet. Just wake up fresh, running crazy. We're doing like kicking legs, abs, jumping with the weights for like 1 hour before the breakfast.
Okay, wait. So time out. If that's how you trained, why are you not doing that like today as a
Okay,
principal dancer? Like what
give me a
what
break.
do you, but no, but like seriously, if you like, why is the training there so different? Like I mean, and do like if dancers in companies in China don't do that, and
Yeah,
training that way seems kind of brutal.
it is brutal. It is really hard. But that actually gave a strong base that who I am have today, that what I have. And that actually allowed me to play around a lot more because these things like this base is like deep down in my heart, in my soul.
It's like a mental, yeah,
100%. It's like dig
yeah.
in there. And so in that base, I come to America like 2010.
Mm.
I went to Houston Ballet second company for 2 years. At that time, I taking class. It was so easy. I was not even warm yet, and the class is finished. But later on, I figure out it's like, oh, and the way they work is different than China.
Yeah.
And I'm happy, I'm glad that I have the amazing teacher that trained me like super straight and build a strong base on me. But now is like the time for me to open my mind, open my eyes, see the world, absorb more things, even good, even bad, doesn't really matter. In the end, it's all experience for me. And it's like the building, you build a building, the base, strong base, and top you can build like fantastic looking shapes, whatever you want. So that's where I am right now. 6 years in Houston Ballet, Ming Company, and now I'm in Pennsylvania Ballet. This is my third season. So I'm glad that I have my good teacher to build a base, and also I'm glad to come to America. I learned so much. Second company 2 years, sixth company, Ming Company, Houston Ballet, and now I think it's the time for me to shine in Pennsylvania Ballet, and that's all I have.
Yeah. What made you decide to come to America? What was it about dancing in America? I mean, why not Europe? Why not staying in China? Why not Australia? Like there's so many other places. What was it about coming to America that was so appealing to you as a dancer?
Well, in China, I was like competition, a lot of competitions, and I always like get a prize, all that stuff. But that's all like limited in China. And I do some international competition in China as well, in Beijing, twice actually. But that one competition is called Prix de la Sun in Switzerland. And then when I go to Switzerland, I see what is like a different world. Like the moment I come out like China, I was like, wow. And I have so many new things, fresh things for me to see, and it's just so distracting. And after that competition, I was in the final, and I get a contract from Houston Ballet. I get a contract from a Russian company. I can't remember the name. It was like 10 years ago. And then another company in Germany, and it's few companies. I can hear you.
Yeah, no, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, but that time Houston Ballet gave me the contract as a second company, summer intensive. Um, and then all I know is Lee Chun-Xin is the Mao's last dancer. And we actually from the same hometown. So I was kind of like go toward his angle because
Yeah,
that's the only thing that I kind of know outside of China. So like maybe just give a shot. So that's the reason I come to America.
yeah. What about his story was so inspiring to you, and what was because obviously I think he his journey was very different politically.
Yeah,
At the time, it was obviously much easier for you to cross the borders and just have this much more free artistic life.
right.
Um, what were some of the things about his story that inspired you?
Um, I think it's the success that actually the how he becomes successful, and that's really attracted me. Like I want to be like him at the time. He's one of my idols, and then also like um, in China, when in the school, we don't have much access to the internet. Like those videos, I only watch his videos. I watch Angel Corrella's videos, Carlos Costa videos, Eva Vasilia videos, and Tatsuya Kumakawa's names. So it's like it's still limited. And so then another reason that he becomes so successful outside of there is not just his dedication on the works, and also like he has so many way to attach those different knowledges. So that's what I wanted to go there. That's what I want to follow his path. But of course, at the time, it's so hard for him to come out. He's like defected to China, it's huge, different and huge story. And of course, I don't want to be like that. And then that's why I have like a scholarship with Houston Ballet. I just go there for 1 year. It's like a trying kind of exchange student, but not quite. It's just like I go there for 1 year study, see how I like it. If I don't, I come back. But when I go there, and he, of course, he already left. He already went to Australia. But all his picture was high on the wall in Houston Ballet. And that time when as 17 years old, me, and that's one of my goal. I wanna one day my picture gonna hang on the wall, and that's how I fight for to the goal.
Yeah. Can you talk about the difference in role models? So when you're in China growing up, you see obviously other Chinese dancers. So the idea of having somebody who looks like you as a role model is sort of taken for granted.
Right.
But then coming to America, maybe if you're a Chinese dancer and you look at the pictures on the wall, maybe there are not too many dancers who look like you. Um, so what was that shift going from a world where everybody in your classes, your whole world is everybody's Chinese,
Yeah,
going to a place where you're actually different. You're maybe one or two Asian people in
I'm
the room.
special ones.
Yeah, you're one of the special ones, as opposed to just a room full of everybody else. What was that shift like for you personally?
Yeah. Well, in China, that's how you grow up. You don't see that as a like difference.
Yeah,
Everybody look the same. It's like, oh, nothing wrong with it. It's fine. But you come to America, you see like so many different colors, people in the room speak different languages, and maybe the way you communicate. I think that's something about ballet is really a miracle. Is even though I don't speak a word of English when I come to the United States, that's actually one of my mom worried about, like how you will survive there. You don't speak their language. Um, Actually, that is a miracle about ballet. Is you don't need to know much about words. Your body language speak everything. You're a good dancer, they give you a thumb up. If you so, they were like, their face expressions, the body language, So that's something about ballet actually that helped me a lot. So I always want to be the thumb up one. And talk about the role models, like it's body language, right? So like it's not for me, it's like black and white. I'm not saying that, oh, he's African American, he's better than I am, he's white, oh, he's better. Because like, African American, their body muscle, masculine, and their muscle intensity is super strong. And the white guys, some white guys, they are like looking just like a prince. And that's something that Asian, we don't have that, right? We are not born for the ballet because ballet is Western life, Western art. We're Asian, we can't dance that. But we have to fight for that. We have to be recognized. And that's what I'm doing, is not just by looking, it's physical. It's you can do it, I can do it. I own your respect because even though you look better than I am, you're stronger than I am, but I can do, even though just even like you, the same, you turn 6 turns, I do 6 turns. Or I want to do better than you, I want to do 7, I want to do 8. It's like a mentality to drive you to be not just be like colorblind, to be just physical art form.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of question that a little bit, I think the body type argument has been used historically to keep certain groups of people of color out of the ballet world. But I think if you actually look at bodies and people, you know, there are fat Asians and there are thin Asians, there are tall, willowy Asians, there are short, you know, power spinning, turning, jumping Asians. I mean, you just have all different types. And so I think what we are discovering when we are giving more diversity to opportunities of who gets to dance, we're
Right.
seeing, you know, maybe there might be one token Asian person and they have a specific body. So you have this idea of that's the Asian body. But then
Yeah.
when more Asians come in and they have all different kind of bodies, you suddenly say, oh, that's not what it is about. They all have different styles. They all move different ways. So,
Exactly.
you know, I think that by opening this up, you know, when we talk about diversity, it's even within our own racial group, the
Right.
bodies are so different, and so there's still a lot to investigate there, I think.
Exactly. I mean, as a Chinese dancer, you can actually has a chance to come out to America, Russia, Europe, like everywhere out of China. You are the lucky one already. You are kind of like the way to represent yourself and to represent your hometown, your schools, yeah, you represent the country. So what they see you have to, already has a pressure that you have to be good. You know, they are before if you're not doing well, they'd be like, oh, Chinese dancer, you know? So like in your head, it's like, I have to be good. I have to use the mentality to drive me to be better. I want to make my family proud, make myself proud, and make them to give you different eye to see Asian dancers.
Yeah. How do you think we're doing in the ballet community in terms of representing Asian people? You know, obviously there's ballets like the Nutcracker, which were choreographed, you know, over 100 years ago. So the ideas of knowing actual Asian people or being influenced by Asian culture through TV or the internet, you know, that just wasn't possible back then.
Mm,
And because we're committed to history, we keep repeating, you know, how we did it last year and how they did the year before that and the year before that. And so,
yeah.
you know, how do you think we're doing in the 21st century, you know, when it comes to race, you know, in ballet? And especially, I would love your perspective as an outsider too, because, you know,
Right.
you're, this idea of living in diversity is sort of act 2 for you in your life, you
Yeah.
know, in terms of being in a homogenous culture where you're one Chinese person in a world of Chinese people, and suddenly being one Chinese person in a sea of lots of different types of people, you know.
Yeah.
So would love to
Well,
hear your thoughts on that.
well, for sure. Yeah. I would say the company around America, let's say just America. I have never been somewhere else. I've been German tours and stuff, but I stay in America the most of my time, all the time. Um, I think American company are doing so well to representing Asian dancers, especially nowadays. I have noticed San Francisco Ballet has Asian principals, Houston Ballet have Asian principals, there are Chinese, and then I have like, here Pennsylvania has it, and many companies has started promoting Asian faces on stage. I think that is saying that is it's 2020, it's like we're performing, of course, a traditional Nutcrackers every year. I mean, we're over it but it's a tradition. And actually, I'm the only Chinese dancer in Pennsylvania Ballet. So when we do Balanchine's Nutcracker, we do T. Of course, I'm the first cast. But if I don't see that as a racist thing, then that shouldn't be a racist thing. So I see that as I'm representing my country. It doesn't mean like no one else can be the first cast, right? So it's like it just maybe that time is me. Maybe next year is someone else, right? It just the year comes. But the step is the step. It's like we are just like the paper, right? We just like plain paper. We just have like super simple white paper. And what people wrote on the paper is how we represent. And the steps actually just a step. It doesn't, I don't think at the time George Balanchine created the ballet that long ago, he had an Asian dancer. And I don't think he intentionally to be a racist. He's making fun of the steps, all that stuff. I think he just at the time, he might not have this like something like rounded people around him, right? So for example, like Ben Stephenson's, all his choreography, he's changing a little bit every year, right? I'm sure when Angel next year or doing something ballet that we have done before, he would change a little bit too. Because like every year is something new people, new dancer, new ideas, right? We do La Ballet there, we have huge discussion about like the race. And we have so many events, we go there, go New York, all that stuff. And it's just like that. We are the white paper, we represent the art. We're not making fun of anything, we are respect the culture and just deliver the art to the audience, not just to Indian people with all around the world, all around different race. That's what we're doing.
So when you do Nutcracker, do you also get to be the Cavalier too?
Of course.
Okay, just making sure, because if they said, "Oh, you're Chinese, so every show you have to do Chinese,"
Oh,
I would have a problem with that, because like then what does that mean? You never get to be the prince or the right?
Yeah.
That's not fair either.
Yeah.
In terms of the costume then of T, what is the costume you put on, and how do you feel about it as somebody who's actually from China? Like,
Yeah. Well, for me, I don't think personally, I don't think it's Chinese costume.
yeah,
And also that's because of the year of they created,
yeah,
So at the time they see an Asian guy, they're Chinese,
right.
So at the time, like George Balanchine probably like, oh, okay, he looks Asian, black hair, he's Asian. And that's the costume for it. But at
I'm
the
talking
time,
about I'm talking about your production when, like, this past December. Like, how's the costume in Pennsylvania Ballet? Like, what do you think?
I don't think it's Chinese.
Okay, it's not Chinese, but like, what is it? I just tell me, because I haven't seen it. So tell our viewers what it is.
Okay, it's like a hat like that, and they have a little like kind of a ponytail like a thing, and it has a little feather on there, and a huge costume, and there's so many colors: red, um, blue, gold.
So it's fun and playful, just not Chinese.
I don't think it's Chinese. That's
Yeah.
personally what I thought. And the costume is huge. You couldn't even see your body. It's like you wear like a huge costume, like you moving around, with jumping around, do a lot of incredible things. But you don't see the full result. It's like all the work you put into.
Yeah.
And you was in the box and jumping back into the box.
Well, so funny story, and I'd
Yeah.
love to hear your opinion as another Chinese person. So Peter Bowl at Pacific Northwest Ballet, and I talk about this in my book, but he called me and he said, he still wasn't quite comfortable with the idea of like that scene of like two women and they push out a man in a box and then they put him back in the box. He just like, yeah, I get it, but like, so he was just thinking of like, what else could the costume be? And he said, what if it was, two girls push out the box. What's in the box? What's in the box? And out pops a Chinese cricket and does all the same choreography, all the big jumps, but as a cricket. So like, it's like two girls and their pet cricket. And I said, wow, Peter, that's such a great idea, because crickets are the most musical animal in Chinese culture, just like
Yeah.
Balanchine dancers are the most
Right.
musical dancers. And also it's a symbol of luck and life, and so it's appropriate with the Nutcracker and the themes, and it
Yeah.
also fits the choreography because it's all like cricket jumps. It looks like a cricket, you know, and
Yep.
even the fingers, it looks like, you know, like a little antenna. So you can make it, it doesn't have to be like this sort of chopstick thing. It can be like a bug. And I
Yeah.
said, oh, that's really great. Like it is a great way to keep the history and not change the choreography. So you can keep Balanchine's choreography exactly, but
Exactly.
like find a new way to approach it. So it's not the guy who built the railroad from 1830, you know, but, or you came for the gold rush, but like, you know, it's actually
That's
like a
great.
respectful part of Chinese history. So what would you say to that?
I would say that's brilliant. That's absolutely. Because like what I was saying, like it's 2020. Is you know it got a little bit update. People have ideas, but you cannot live in the box that the race or like the old version of it is. You need to update it. You know, is updated. Is even though that's why so many after Petit Pas, and so many choreographers start creating new works, and that's attracting more audience. And that's how people like it. If you're watching like 20 years of this production, you will know by now, right? So you want something fresh, something new that you can. I, th- I think it's brilliant. I think it's a brilliant idea.
Okay, so let's play devil's advocate then. Let's talk about a ballet like SaraNog, right?
Okay. Yeah.
SaraNog is like it's just perfect. It's just
Yeah.
perfect as it is. So if Nutcracker is taking little changes, does that mean we can also do that for SaraNog? Like then is it still SaraNog if you're allowed to change the costumes? You know, because it's part of the dance of SaraNog is like the blue,
Yeah.
beautiful moonlight. But say like, oh, okay, well, like let's do change. Let's put them in hot pink. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
where do you draw the line, do you think? When we
That's
talk about change.
right. 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 Well, that's a really good question. It's a really tricky question, actually. You care about this. Um, I think, for example, um, it's a tradition, right? It's a tradition. Now Nutcracker has been like a culture of America. It's like if you don't watch Nutcracker, it's like you didn't make Christmas tree in Christmas. It's like that huge effect. SaraNog is like, first of all, we're not doing that many often, and that's one thing. So, and that's pretty. It doesn't have like a story connected.
Or maybe because Nutcracker is bigger than just one production, whereas SaraNog is one specific
Oh
ballet, whereas
yeah,
Nutcracker could be many more things.
exactly. Like how you understand, how I understand is different. So the what that people have put their own footprints on the Nutcracker is different. But SaraNog is like is SaraNog. Is that you're not gonna change it, right?
Even though it's called George Balanchine's Nutcracker copyright. Do you know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
how do we talk about this work? I mean, it's just like a bigger conversation. I think too it's easier to change things with Petipa because it's just like nobody has an emotional connection with him personally. No one got it from him personally at this point, but there's still many people alive who got this repertory passed down to them from the person who made it. So I think it's a lot harder to maybe make
Yeah.
changes than it is, say, to do a new Corsair or to do a new, you know, Giselle.
Yeah, it's like I'm sure it's a part of the royalty. Like they're dedicated to him. You know, they are like royal with him. It's like you see at the time he's like God. You know, so I think I'm sure that's part of it. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
So just zooming back out again, thinking about other young dancers who,
Okay,
since you want to be the guy on the wall, okay?
one day.
Yeah, one day. What advice would you have for young dancers who are starting to figure this out? My niece I think she's 11 and she's like I think she's like going to be a bunhead. She's getting very excited
Okay.
by ballet. So like, what advice would you have for her to like, how do I do this if I want to do
Well,
this?
first of all, I think at the time you gotta get interested first. You gotta just dive in for it, right? And you gotta find something that you would like attracted you, and ballet is, and which I have not dived until when I was level 3. It's kind of late because we graduated level 6. I was level 3. I was still like wandering around, like not really pay attention. So when she was 11. That's how old I was when I was in Guangzhou Art School. You gotta go in there to find something that interested you and what make you fall in love with. And that's really important. Just having fun in the beginning, find out what you really, really want. And I actually found out what I want is by I heard music first on cue, the main variation. That music is like I was dying for it, and I was dedicated to do the steps, and that actually cost me such dedication to work hard and hard and hard, and then finally I completed, and I showed in front of my teacher, and my teacher like kind of correct me, and that start builds like the challenge of me, and then like I want to do it, I want to get it, I want to get it that. But as 11 years old, have fun first. But for the younger dancers about to get into like getting serious already, I have two advice. One is to learn, to see, to watch people dance, to learn from people. And that actually linked to respect to each other and to be humble. And that's how you learn, you know, you sit down, you learn to appreciate what they did, like to learn from people. And that actually linked to the second talent, which is to learn from people, but you put it in your body and to do it that what they did good, what you think they're good, and in your body to do it. And that actually caused me like the dedication, hard working, and never give up, I would say, and to challenge yourself to do the things that you not think you can do. And all that thing, when you complete it and just working hard and be smart. That's half of my year, 6 years in China, are working so hard every day, every day, every day. And when I come to America, I'm working hard, but I'm working smart in the way. So it's like, it's two ages of me, working hard, working smart. So that when these two combine together, you're pretty close to success.
Great. I think that's a fabulous answer.
Really?
One last thing before we go. We are all, of course, in the middle of this global pandemic. Everybody is hurting. Our arts community is suffering. And of course, the Pennsylvania Ballet is on hiatus at the moment. So if our viewers want to support you and support your artistic career, what is the best way they can do that right now?
Well, you know, we're definitely want to help. We are offering classes online, you know, on Instagram, Pennsylvania Ballet Instagram. We have different dancers, different ranks, people, artistic director, Angel Corella, teach a class every Monday. And then the rest of the dancers through the rest of the weekend, we offering classes, all that. And if you really want to support Pennsylvania Ballet, please go to pennsylvaniaballet.org and you will find out all the information that you will have and support us, support dancers, support the art, most likely.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. Thank you again for everybody who is watching this at home for tuning in. And make sure to check out our Instagram page right now for the reveal of who tomorrow's dancer will be. And then tune in at noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow for the conversation. So thank you again, and happy Asian Pacific Heritage Month.
Yay!